right. Gandalf Murphy and the Slambovian Circus of Dreams is live in WNCW Studio B. We're glad to have you in Spindale.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah, early in the morning, like you say.
Telling you. We're psyched for it, though, too. You know? I mean, the early morning things, it's a nice shock to the system every once in a while. We usually go into bed around this time, you know.
Right, yeah.
But we're pretty psyched to be in the Carolinas. I hitchhiked down here years ago and wound up just living in the streets for about 1.5 years in this area.
Wow.
So it really, the area, and that was just kind of a whim that brought me here. I really feel a love for this area, so we're happy that we were asked to come down.
Well, great. Thanks very much. And tell us a little bit about the band. Now, I know some of the history that you guys have been together, in another band before you were Gandalf Murphy.
We were in another incarnation. We did some odd stuff in the last band we were in. We were a New York City band. We all met in the city anyway. We're from all over the country, you know. And we wound up doing things like being the first American band to get into China years ago, you know. We did Carnegie Hall with an orchestra one time, but we would never, we were also very known in New York City to be the band that snubbed whatever offer they were given. Huh. And then it became a very negative thing, actually, because we blew off stuff. But this band, Gandalf Murphy's a lot friendlier than we used to be. And we've been together for a number of years. We get to travel a lot with this band. We just came back from doing Glastonbury over in England. Mm-hmm. And we've managed to do that without management or a label or anything. So we've been happily independent all these years.
Yeah, yeah. And so you're Josiah Longo. We've got Tink Lloyd and your son Chen.
That's Orion, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry, Orion.
Chen went to school now.
Okay.
And Orion took over bass. He used to be the keyboard player. Now, as you can see, he's playing bass and keyboards. He's doubling up for Chen. And
we've got Sharky McEwen on guitar.
Yeah.
And Tony Zazzulo on the drums.
Hello.
And I think you pulled him out of academia to bring him back into music. Is that right?
Yeah. He had stopped for a little while as a drummer. That's which would have been a sin. He's got the foot of Bonham and the fills of Keith Moon, I think, when I heard him play. So we've been doing this for a while together. We're happy playing. We like playing with each other. You know, it's pretty cool.
You can find out more about Gandalf Murphy at slambovia.com. And you've also got a new EP out, I understand.
Yeah. Actually, we're working on the album, right here. It's going to have a little bit of the UK vibe as well as some North and South Carolina vibe because Sharky's in the back seat of the van doing the final mixes.
Mixing it on the way down.
Tell us a little bit about the name Gandalf Murphy. Obviously, nobody is named Gandalf. Did everybody just play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons or something?
You know, it's just a name that came on a whim. It's not even something we thought about long enough to really keep the name. I was just, we moved to an area that's called Sleepy Hollow, New York. You know, it's a pretty crazy place.
Hudson Valley.
Hudson Valley. A lot of ghosts of writers and stuff floating around. And the name just kind of popped in my head one day. I thought it was pretty funny. I brought it to the band and we figured, let's try it for a month or so, just for the fun of it. We were just kind of experimenting with the sound anyway, and somehow, the New York Times got a hold of it, did a feature article on us before we had a chance to undo the name that we had done. So we just been staying with it. It's a bit of a mouthful, but the cool thing about it is it insinuates something kind of big and mysterious. So it's useful in that way. Doesn't fit on a marquee though. That's the problem.
Yeah. Now, Slambovia, I guess, is this mythical sort of territory that you reside in.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of like, it's kind of like Canaan or the place you want to go to. Kind of, I guess it's just
Pepperland.
That type of thing. So, yeah, Pepperland, exactly. Yeah, well put.
And if we're really lucky, sometimes at shows, it's kind of like, the dimension opens up. And so it's at shows, too. So it's not just like where we live.
So that you can step through the gateway starting tonight in Charlotte, right?
Yeah, that could be cool. That'd be good. Bring their faith with them. We can go to some cool place together,
Well,
we all need some altered state, that doesn't cost anything.
So you've also got your own record label. I know a little bit about your history. You'd kind of been in the, on a label before with the Ancestors, correct?
Yeah.
But now you've got your own label, High Noon Records.
Yeah, and that's just, the cool thing about this time is anybody can make their own label, record their own stuff. You don't have to sell your soul to get into a studio anymore. That's a cool thing, So independence, and we're an independent nation, it works pretty well for us. So that, we're happy to be independent. Although if there's a small label out there with a good office, we're always looking for some people to work with,
Absolutely.
We ran out of RAM on our own here. So.
All right, we're switching up some instruments now, and one of the notable things about your band is that sort of blend of electric and acoustic, and the whole rock and Americana thing. We've got Sharky on the mandolin now.
Yeah, and he's going to play slide mandolin on this thing,
All right.
A little bit of hillbilly Floyd.
Wanted to ask you a little bit about was it Glastonbury that you just came back from?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How is it over in England?
Well, we camped, and it was really sunny and hot, just like North Carolina.
They took to us pretty good in England. It's funny because there's a lot of British invasion mixed in with our very Americana stuff, It's kind of, we're a blend of that, I think, more than those two things. So when we went over there, we weren't sure how they take to us, but they call us the hillbilly Pink Floyd, which is really a cool thing, So, and, it's been pretty good. Getting Glastonbury that quick was pretty miraculous without management or anything, so it's been magical over there, I think we have a certain romantic notion of the Brits, and they equally do stuff over here, especially Americana. It's amazing how much they take to the roots of stuff that we do, We're just like, we're like a family that had trouble in the house and the kids moved out kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're going back to visit Mom a little bit.
Well, tell us a little bit about family, because a husband and wife team now with your kids in the band, and that's got to, make a completely different dynamic.
Well, the band started out as just the four of us, Tony and Shark and Josiah and I. And then we had no bass player. We were actually famous for being the band that had no bass player. That was one of our niche things, And then we've done 3 studio albums. So the second studio album, we started adding a little bit of bass too. And especially for the bigger productions like Flapjacks from the Sky, that's the title track of that album. And it's a big Pink Floyd song. And so you really need a little bit of the lower dimension happening.
So we employed one of our twin sons on it.
Yeah, we
was
thought
his brother Chen, who's 3 minutes older than him.
So we have the alternating twin bass players. They kind of,
And then they needed a keyboardist, so they cloned him, and they got me.
Well, speaking of Flapjacks in the Sky on AllMusic, it gives one of the longest and most glowing reviews of that double album that I can remember reading. And so you've definitely got a lot of fans.
Yeah, we do. I mean, that review was pretty spectacular. Right, 21 songs on the album. I think they talked about every song on the album. We feel very honored to have that happen, especially when nobody's paying anybody to do it.
Gandalf Murphy and the Slambovian Circus of Dreams wrapping up their live session at WNCW's Studio B this morning, playing tonight at the Double Door to kick off the 21st anniversary jams. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us, man. We had a good time.
Very good. Scotty, back to you.